Hare Krishna, can I start? Am I audible? Haribol.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu. Want to
Om
read the prayers?
Ajnanatimirandhasya.
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalaam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajitam Tadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lila Shri Vishakhanvitamsha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चादेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Prayers to recite before Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् अष्टप्रसृणुतां सुखदा कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना हृद्यन्तस्तो यभद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सताम् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances onto the personality of Godhead Narayana, onto Naranarayan Rishi, the supermost human being, onto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma. Can you go down, Prabhu? Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the heart of devotee who have the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Srimad Bhagavatam, and by reading of service to the and by rendering service to the pure devotee all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Would you like to start reading or someone?
Yeah, I can read few verses.
Yes, thank you.
It is Canto 4, chapter 26. King Puranjana goes to the forest to hunt, and his queen becomes angry. Text 1 to 3. Narada Uvacha. स एकदा महेश्वासो रथं आशुगं द्विषं द्विचक्रमेकाक्षं त्रिवेणुं पञ्च बन्धुरम् एक एकरस्म एकदमनम् एकनिन्दं द्विकुबरं पञ्च प्रहरणं सप्त वरुथं पञ्चविक्रमं हैमोपास्करम् आरुह्य स्वर्ण वर्माशयेषुधि एकादश चमूनाथ पञ्चपृष्ठम् अगाद्वनम्. Translation, synonyms. Narada Vacha, Narada said, Sir, King Puranjana, Ekada, once upon a time, Maheshwasa, carrying his strong bow and arrows, Ratham, chariot, Panchashvam, 5 horses, Ashugam, going very swiftly, Dvisham, 2 arrows, Dvichaksham, two wheels, Eka, one, Aksham, axle, three, Venum, flags, Pancha, 5, Bandhuram, obstacles, Eka, one, Rashmi, rope, rain, Eka, one, Damanam, chariot driver, Eka, one, Nindam, sitting place, Dvi, two, Kubaram, post to which the harshness are fixed, Pancha, 5, Praharam, weapons, Sapta, 7, Varutham, covering or ingredients of the body, Pancha, 5, Vikramam, processes, Haima, golden, Upashkaram, ornaments, Aruhya, riding on, Savarna, golden, Varma, armor, Kshaya, inexhaustible, Ishugdhi, fever, Ekadasha, 11, Chamunatha, commanders, Pancha, 5, Prashtham, destinations, objectives, Agat, went, Vanam, to the forest. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The great sage Narada continued, My dear king, once upon a time King Puranjana took upon his great bow and equipped with golden armor and a quiver of unlimited arrows and accompanied by 11 commanders, he sat on his chariot driven by 5 swift horses and went to the forest named Panchaprastha. He took with him in that chariot 2 explosive arrows. The chariot itself was situated on 2 wheels and one revolving axle. On the chariot were 3 flags, one green, one chariot driver, one sitting place, 2 poles to which the harness was fixed, 5 weapons, and 7 coverings. The chariot moved in 5 different styles, and 5 obstacles lay before it. All the decorations of the chariot were made of gold. Purport. These 3 verses explain how the material body of the living entity is under the control of 3 qualities of external energy. The body itself is the chariot, and the living entity is the owner of the body, as explained in Bhagavad Gita. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. The, the owner of the body is called Dehi, and he is situated within this body, specifically within the heart. Within the heart, the living entity is driver by one chariot driver. The chariot itself is made of 3 gunas, 3 qualities of material nature, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Yantra Rudhani Maya. The word yantra means carriage. The body is given by material nature, and the driver of the body is Paramatma, the super soul. The living entity, the living entity is seated within the chariot. This is the actual position. The living entity is always being influenced by 3 qualities: sattva, goodness, rajas, passion, and tamah, ignorance. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैर् इभि सर्वम् idam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mam ebhya paramavyayam. Diluted by 3 modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Bhagavad Gita 7:13. The living entity is thus bewildered by the 3 qualities of material nature. These 3 qualities are described in this verse as 3 flags. By one flag, one can come to know who is the owner of the chariot is. Similarly, by the influence of the 3 qualities of material nature, one can easily know the direction in which the chariot is moving. In other words, one who has eyes to see can understand how the body is being driven, influenced by the particular type of quality of material nature. In these 3 verses, the activities of the living entity is described to prove how the body becomes influenced by the quality of ignorance, even when a person wants to be religious. Narada Muni wanted to prove to King Prachina Drishat that the king was being influenced by the tamoguna, the quality of ignorance. even though the king was supposed to be very religious. According to karma kandya, the process of fruitive activities, a person performs various sacrifices directed by the Vedas, and in all those sacrifices, animal killing or experimenting on the life of animals to test the power of Vedic mantras is enjoyed. Animal killing is certainly conducted under the influence of the mode of ignorance. Even though one may be religiously inclined, animal sacrifice is nonetheless recommended in the Shastras, not only in the Vedas but even in the modern scriptures of other sects. These animal sacrifices are recommended in the name of religion, but actually, animal sacrifice is meant for persons in the mode of ignorance. When such people kill animals, they can at least do so in the name of religion. However, when the religious system is transcendental, like the Vaishnava religion, there is no place for animal sacrifice. Such a transcendental religious system is recommended by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma suchah. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Bhagavad Gita 1866. Because King Prachinabharishat was engaged in performing various sacrifices in which animals were killed, Narada Muni pointed out that such sacrifices are influenced by the modes of ignorance. From the very beginning of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is said, Dharma projita kaitavotra. Bhagavatam 1:1-2. All kinds of religious systems that are involved in cheating are completely kicked out of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. In the Bhagavad Dharma, the religion dealing with one's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, animal sacrifice is not recommended. In the performance of Sankirtan Yajna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, there is no recommendation for animal sacrifices. In these three verses, King Puranjana's going to the forest to kill animals is symbolic of the living entities being driven by the mode of ignorance and thus engaging in different activities for sense gratification. The material body itself indicates that the living entity is already influenced by the three modes of material nature and that he is driven to enjoy material resources. When the body is influenced by mode of ignorance, it is infection. Its infection becomes very acute. When it is influenced by the mode of passion, the infection is at the symptomatic stage. However, when the body is influenced by mode of goodness, the materialistic infections become purified. The ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the religious systems are certainly on the platform of goodness. But because within this material world, even the mode of goodness is sometimes polluted by other qualities, namely passion and ignorance, a man in goodness is sometimes driven by the influence of ignorance. It is herein described that King Puranjana once went to the forest to kill animals. This means that he, the living entity, came under the influence of the mode of ignorance. The forest in which King Puranjana engaged in the hunting was named Panchaprashtha. The word Pancha means five, and this indicates the objects of five senses. The word Pancha means five, and this indicates the objects of five senses. The body has five working senses, namely the hands, legs, tongues, the rectum, and the genitals. By taking full advantage of these working senses, the body enjoys material life. The chariot is driven by five horses, which represents the five sense organs, namely the eyes, ears, nose, skin, and tongue. These five sense organs are very easily attracted by sense objects. Consequently, the horses are described as moving swiftly on the chariot. On the chariot, King Puranjana kept two explosive weapons, which may be compared to ahankar or false ego. This false ego is typified by two attitudes: I am the body, ahanta, and everything in my bodily relationships belong to me, mamata. The two wheels of the chariot may be compared to the two moving facilities, namely sinful life and religious life. The chariot is decorated with three flags, which represents the three modes of material nature. The five kinds of obstacles or uneven roads represent the five kinds of air passing within the body. These are prana, apana, udana, samana, and vyana. The body itself is covered by seven coverings, namely skin, muscle, fat, blood, marrow, bone, and semen. The living entity is covered by three subtle material elements and five gross material elements. These are actually obstacles placed before the living entity on the path of liberation from material bondage. The word Rashmi, rope, in this verse indicates the mind. The word Nida is also significant, for Nida indicates the nest where a bird takes rest. In this case, Nida is the heart where the living entity is situated. The living entity sits in one place only. The causes of his bondage are two, namely lamentation and illusion. In the material existence, the living entity simply hankers to get something he can never get. Therefore, he is in illusion. As a result of being in this illusory situation, the living entity is always lamenting. Thus, lamentation and illusion are described herein as Dvikubara, Dvikubara, the two posts of bondage. The living entity carries out various desires through five different processes, which indicates the working of five working senses. The golden ornaments and dress indicates that the living entity is influenced by quality of Rajoguna passion. One who has a good deal of money or riches is especially driven by the mode of passion. Being influenced by the mode of passion, one desires so many things for enjoyment in this material world. The 11 commanders represents the 10 senses and the mind. The mind is always making plans with the 10 commanders to enjoy the material world. The forest named Panchaprashtha, where the king went to hunt, is the forest of the five sense objects: form, taste, sound, smell, and touch. Thus, in these three verses, Narada Muni describes the position of material body and the en- engagement of the living entity within it. So, a very nice analogy given. Actually, this verse, like this is called as Gauna Vritti, means like it's not like direct, like indirect explanation. So Prabhupada in the purport
Yes, Prabhu.
explain it very nicely, like the analogy, how it is compared to the body and senses, all activities like. Okay, text 4. च चचार मृगयां तत्र दीप्त आतेषु का कार् कामुक विहाय विहाय जायं विहाय ज विहाय जायम् एतत् अर्हां मृग व्यसनलालस चचार executed mrigayam hunting tatra there tripta being proud ata having taken issue arrows karm karmuka bow vihaya giving up jayam his wife at, atatara atat arham although impossible mriga hunting vyasana evil activities lalasa being inspired by. Translation: it was almost impossible for King Puranjana to give up the company of his queen, even for a movement. Nonetheless, on that day, being very much inspired by the desire to hunt, he took up his bow and arrow with great pride and went to the forest, not caring for his wife. Purport.
Hmm. So the forest is the senses, sense objects. So he left his
Mm.
intelligence and he went to enjoy the senses.
Uh, It was almost. Oh. Read translation. Purport. One form of hunting is known as woman hunting. God. A conditioned soul is never satisfied with one wife. Those whose senses are very much uncontrolled especially try to hunt for many women. King Puranjana's abandoning the company of his religiously married wife is representative of the conditioned soul's attempt to hunt for many women for sense gratification. Wherever a king goes, he is supposed to be accompanied by his queen. But when the king or conditioned souls become greatly overpowered by the desire for sense gratification, he does not care for religious principles. Instead, with great pride, he accepts the bow and arrow of attachment and hatred. Our consciousness is always working in two ways, the right way and the wrong way. When one becomes too proud of his position, influenced by the mode of passion, he gives up the right path and accepts the wrong one. Kshatriya kings are sometimes advised to go to the forest to hunt ferocious animals just to learn how to kill. But such forays are never meant for sense gratification. Killing animals is not the goal of the foray. Animals are merely instruments of Krishna.
Prabhu, your voice is gone.
Animals to eat their flesh is forbidden for humans, especially in I'm audible, I'm sorry.
Yes, Prabhu,
Hare
now you.
Krishna. Yeah, where I left, I read
So you,
everything.
yeah, you just finished it.
Yeah, text 5. Asurim vrittim ashritya horatma niranugata nyahanam nishiterbaner vaneshu vanagocharan. Asurim, demoniac, vrittim, occupation, ashritya, ashritya, taken shelter of, ghora, horrible, atma, consciousness, heart, nirugraha, without mercy, nihanat, killed, nishite, by sharp, banai, arrows, vaneshu, in the forest, vanagocharan, the forest animals. Translation. At that time, King Puranjana was very much influenced by demonic propensities. Because of this, his heart became very hard and merciless. And with sharp arrows, he killed many innocent animals in the forest, taking no consideration. But when a man becomes too proud of his material position, he tries to enjoy his senses in an unrestricted way, being influenced by the moods of passion and ignorance. He is thus described as asuric or demoniac. When people are demoniac in spirit, they are not merciful towards the poor animals. Consequently, they maintain various animal slaughterhouses. This is technically called shuna or himsa, which means the killing of living beings. In Kali Yuga, due to increase of the modes of passion and ignorance, almost all men are asuric or demoniac. Therefore, they are very much fond of eating flesh. And for this end, they maintain various kinds of animal slaughterhouses. In this age of Kali, the propensity for mercy is almost nil. Consequently, there is always fighting and wars between men and nations. Understand that because they unrestrictedly kill so many animals, they also must be slaughtered like animals in big wars. This is very much evident in the Western countries. In the West, slaughterhouses are maintained without restriction, and therefore every fifth or 10th year there is a big war in which countless people are slaughtered even more cruelly, cruelly than the animals. Sometimes during war, soldiers keep their enemies in concentration. These are the reactions brought about by unrestricted animal killing in the slaughterhouse and by hunters in the forest. Proud demoniac persons do not know the laws of nature, nor do they know the laws of God. Consequently, they unrestrictedly kill poor animals, not caring for them at all. In this Krishna consciousness movement, animal killing is completely prohibited. One is not accepted as a bona fide student in this movement unless he promises to follow the four regulative principles: no animal killing, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. This Krishna consciousness movement is the only means by which the sinful activities of men in this Kali Yuga can be counteracted. Text 6. तीर्थेषु प्रतिदृष्टेषु राजा मेधया राजा मेधान्वने यावदर्थम् अलम् लुब्धो इति नियम्यते तीर्थेषु in holy places
Prabhu, your voice is breaking too much.
according to the direction of the Vedas, Raja.
Prabhu, your voice was cutting. Oh no, now it completely cut. Anyone else want to continue?
Can I, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
From translation, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: if a king is too attached to eating flesh, he may, according to the directions of the revealed scriptures on sacrificial performance, says go to the forest and kill some animals that are recommended for killing. One is not allowed to kill animals unnecessarily or without restrictions. The Vedas regulate animal killing to stop the extravagance of foolish men influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance. Purport: the question may be raised. Purport: the question may be raised. Why, why a living being should be restricted in sense gratification? If a king, to learn how to kill, may go to the forest and kill animals, why should a living entity who has been given senses not be allowed unrestricted sense gratification? At the present moment, this argument is put forward even by so-called swamis and yogis, who publicly say that because we have senses, we must satisfy them by sense gratification. These foolish swamis and yogis, however, do not know the injunctions of the Shastras. Indeed, sometimes these rascals come out to defy the Shastras. No more books. Just come to me, they say, and I shall touch you, and you will become immediately spiritually advanced. Because demoniac people want to be cheated, so many cheaters are present to cheat them. At the present moment, in this age of Kali Yuga, the entire human society has become an assembly of cheaters and cheated. For this reason, the Vedic scriptures have given us the proper directions for sense gratification. Everyone is inclined in this age to eat meat and fish, drink liquor, and indulge in sex life. But according to the Vedic injunctions, sex is allowed only in marriage. Meat eating is allowed only when the animal is killed and offered before the goddess Kali. and intoxication is allowed only in a restricted way. In this verse, the word niya niyamyate indicates that all these things, namely animal killing, intoxication, and sex, should be regulated. Regulations are meant for human beings, not for animals. The traffic regulations on the street telling people keep to the right or to the left are meant for human beings, not for animals. If an animal violates such a law, he is never punished, but a human being is punished. The Vedas are not meant for the animals, but for the understanding of human society. A person who indiscriminately violates the rules and regulations given by the Vedas is liable to be punished. One should therefore not enjoy his senses according to his lusty desires, but should restrict himself according to the regulative principles given in the Vedas. If a king is allowed to hunt in a forest, it is not for his sense gratification, not simply experiment in the art of killing. If a king, being afraid to meet rogues and thieves, kills poor animals and eats their flesh comfortably at home, he may lose his position, because in this age kings have such demoniac propensities. Monarchy is abolished by the laws of nature in every country. People have become so degraded in this age that on the on the one hand they restrict polygamy, and on the other hand they hunt for women in so many ways. Many business concerns publics Many businesses concerns publicly advertise the topless girls are available in this club or in that shop. Thus women have become instruments of sense enjoyment in modern society. The Vedas enjoin, however, that if a man has the propensity to enjoy more than one wife, as is sometimes the propensity for men in the higher social order, such as the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and the Vaishyas, and even sometimes the Shudras, he is allowed to marry more than one wife. Marriage means taking complete charge of a woman and living peacefully without debauchery. At the present moment, however, debauchery is unrestricted. Nonetheless, society makes a law that one should not marry more than one wife. This is a this is typically a demonic society.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila
Oh,
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Rabban,
Krishna Prabhu, stand up, Jai Shri
Thank you
Prabhupada.
for joining, Prabhu.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
I've read a little today. I haven't read. We are 8 today. Haribo.
Prabhu,
Yeah,
Lucky
Evam.
Prabhu has some question.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Sorry, Prabhu, to interrupt, but Lucky Prabhu has some question in the chat.
There's some question, and I don't know why I can open my chat. Can you paste it again? Is it possible?
Oh, it's forest
Or you can-
animals. The king
Sure.
goes to the forest to kill the animals in the forest.
The king.
Yes, Prabhu, here it is said.
Oh. Is it done with the senses now?
Yes, Prabhu, now the
Very good.
king went to the forest and the forest is the sense objects. So he went to enjoy.
Oh, like
to
he's
the
going
forest.
for tapasya or the
No,
forest.
he went for sense
King forest.
gratification.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a
Puranjan.
material
King
king. Yes,
Puranjan.
Prabhu. Yeah, he's one who
Okay.
enjoys in the body.
Oh, yes, Prabhu. Oh, yeah, I remember, like, so when
Usually the king challenges some ferocious animals like lions or tigers or bear or something like that, or some boars,
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
some crazy forest animals. But he wouldn't go and kill some cows or something like that.
Yes, Prabhu. So where do I start reading? Okay. Which text is this?
8.
8. Ya
Yes, Prabhu.
evam karma nityatam.
No, 7. Sorry.
Oh, 7. Text 7. Ya evam karma nityatam vidvan kurvita manavaha karma natena rajendra jnanena na sa lipyate. Synonyms, yeah, anyone who evam thus karma activities nityatam regulated vidvan learned kurvita should perform manava, a human being, karmana, by such activities, tena, by this raja indra, O king, jnanena, by advancement of knowledge, na never sa he lipyate becomes involved. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Yeah.
Narada Muni continued to speak to King Prachinabarishat. Prachinabarishat. How do you pronounce it, Sami Prabhu? Prachinabarishat. Sorry, Prabhu? Prachinabarishat. My dear king, any person who works according to the directions of the Vedic scriptures does not become involved in fruitive activities. Purport, just as the government may issue trade licenses in order for its citizens to act in a certain way, the Vedas contain injunctions that restrain and regulate all of our fruitive activities. All living entities have come into this material world to enjoy themselves. Consequently, the Vedas are given to regulate sense enjoyment. One who enjoys his senses under the Vedic regulative principles does not become entangled in the actions and reactions of his activities, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Can go down, Prabhu. Yagnartat karmano nyartram lokoyam karma bandanaha tad artham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Work done as sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work binds one to this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. And in that way, you will always remain unattached and free from bondage. Bhagavad Gita 3.9. A human being is especially meant to attain liberation from their bondage. You can go down, Prabhu. Bondage of birth, death, old age, and disease. He is therefore directed by the Vedic regulative principles to work in such a way that he may fulfill his desires for sense gratification and at the same time gradually become freed from material bondage. Action according to such principles is called knowledge. Indeed, the word Veda means knowledge. The word yagna nena na sa lipyate. Can go down, Prabhu. King Puranjana goes to the forest to hunt. Isn't this hunting women? Women hunting. Isn't
Yes,
that
Prabhu,
one?
and the forest is the sense objects.
Oh, yes, Prabhu. So figurative, eh?
Yes, Prabhu.
Indicate that by following the Vedic principles, one does not become involved in the actions and reactions of his fruitive activities. Everyone is therefore advised to act in terms of the Vedic injunctions and not irresponsibly. When a person within a state acts according to the laws and licenses of the government, he does not become involved in criminal activities. Man-made laws, however, are always defective because they are made by men who are prone to committing mistakes, being illusioned, cheating, and having imperfect senses. The Vedic instructions are different because they do not have these 4 defects. Vedic instructions are not subject to mistakes. The knowledge of the Vedas is knowledge received directly from God, and there is consequently no question of illusion, cheating, mistakes, or imperfect senses. All Vedic knowledge is perfect because it is received directly from God by the parampara disciplinic succession. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is said, Tena Brahma Hirda Ya Adi Kavaye. Bhagavatam 1.1.1. The original creature of this universe, known as the Adi Kavi, or Lord Brahma, was instructed by Krishna through the heart. After receiving these Vedic instructions from Lord Krishna himself, Brahma distributed the knowledge by the parampara system to Narada, and Narada in turn distributed the knowledge to Vyasa. In this way, Vedic knowledge is perfect. If we act according to Vedic knowledge, there is no question of being involved in sinful activities. Anyata karma kurvano manaruddo nibadyate guna pravaha patito nashta pragno vrajatyadaha vrajati adaha. Synonyms. Anyata, otherwise, karma, fruitive activities, kurvanaha, while acting, mana, arudaha, being influenced by false prestige, nibandyate, one becomes entangled, guna pravaha, by the influence of the material qualities, patita, fallen, nashta, pragna, bereft of all intelligence, vrajati, thus he goes, ada, down. Translation, otherwise, a person who acts whimsically falls down due to false prestige, thus he becomes involved in the law of nature, which are composed of the three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance. In this way, I want to just take a screenshot of this. Yes. In this way, a living entity becomes devoid of his real intelligence and becomes perpetually lost in the cycle of birth and death. Thus, he goes up and down from a microbe in stool to a higher position in the Brahmaloka planet.
Yes, but
Microbe in stool.
About the modes. 426, where it is 8.
4.4. So, Prabhu, the previous was 4.3, ne? 4.3.20 what?
4.3 what? 4.26.
The Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. 4.
This is 26.
Oh, 26. 4.26. Oh, I'm looking at the top left. This one is the 4.4 book. Okay. Purport, there are many important words in this verse. The first is anyata, otherwise, which indicates one who does not care for the Vedic rules and regulations. The rules and regulations laid down in the Vedas are called Shastra Vidhi. Bhagavad Gita clearly states that one who does not accept the Shastra Vidhi or rules and regulations mentioned in the Vedas are called, mentioned in the Vedas, Vedic scriptures. Wait. I'm here, Prabhu. Third line.
Yes,
Regulations mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. And acts whimsically or puffed up with false pride never attains perfection in this life, nor does he attain happiness, liberation from the material conditions. Yaha Shastra Vidim Uttarjya Vartate Kama Kartaha Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti Na Sukam Na Param Gatim. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Bhagavad Gita 16.23. Thus, one who is deliberately transgressing the rules and regulations of the Shastras is simply involving himself more and more in material existence. And good on, bro. In the three modes of material nature, human society should therefore follow the Vedic principles of life, which are summarized in the Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, life in material existence will continue. Foolish persons do not know that the soul is passing through 8.4 million species of life by the gradual process of evolution. When one comes to the human form of life, he is supposed to follow the rules and regulations laid down in the Vedas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that the living entity, since time immemorial, is suffering the threefold miseries of material nature due to his demoniac attitude, which is his spirit of revolt against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna also confirms this in Bhagavad Gita. Mama ivamsho jivaloke jiva bhutaha sanatana manaha shashtani driyani praktistani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to this conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Every living entity is part and parcel of God. There is no reason for the living entities being put into the miserable threefold condition of material existence, but that he voluntarily accepts material existence on the false pretext of becoming an enjoyer. To save him from this horrible condition, the Lord has given all the Vedic literatures in his incarnation of Vyasadeva. It is therefore said, Krishna Buli Sei Jiva Anandi Bahir Mukha Atta Eva Maya Tare Deya Samsara Dukkha. By forgetting Krishna, the living entity has become materialistic since time immemorial. Therefore, the illusory energy of Krishna is giving him different. And go down, Prabhu. Different types of miseries in material existence. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 20.117. Maya Mugda Jivera Nahi Swataha Krishna Gyana Jivere Kripaya Kali Kaila Krishna Veda Purana. When a living entity is enchanted by the external energy, he cannot revive his original Krishna consciousness independently. Due to such circumstances, Krishna has kindly given him the Vedic literature such as the 4 Vedas and 18 Puranas. CC Madhya 20.122. Every human being should therefore take advantage of these Vedic instructions. Otherwise, one will be bound by his whimsical activities and will be without any guide. The word Manaruddha is always very significant in this verse. Under the pretext of becoming great philosophers and scientists, men throughout the whole world are working on the mental platform. Such men are generally non-devotees due to not caring for the instructions given by the Lord to the first living creatures, Lord Brahma. The Bhagavatam therefore says, Harav abhaktyasya kuto mad guna manorate nasati Davato Bahi, Bhagavatam 5.18-12. A person who is a non-devotee has no good qualification because he acts on the mental platform. One who acts on the mental platform has to change his standard of knowledge periodically. We consequently see that one philosopher may disagree with another philosopher, and one scientist may put forward a theory contradicting the theory of another scientist. All of Good on, bro. All of this is due to their working on the mental platform without a standard of knowledge. In the Vedic instructions, however, the standard of knowledge is accepted, even though it may sometimes appear that the statements are contradictory, because the Vedas are the standard of knowledge. Even though they may appear contradictory, They should be accepted. If one does not accept them, he will be bound by the material conditions. The material conditions are described in this verse as guna paravaha, the flowing of the three modes of material nature. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur therefore says in a song, Miche Mayara Vashe Yacha Bese. Is it Bese? Kacha Habu Dubu Bai. Why are you suffering? Why are you sometimes being drowned in the waves of material nature and sometimes coming to the surface? Jiva Krishna Das E Visha Vasa Karleta Ara Dukana E. Please therefore accept yourself as the servant of Krishna. Then you will be freed from all miseries as soon as one surrenders to Krishna and accept the perfect standards of knowledge, which is Bhagavad Gita as it is. He then comes out of the material modes of nature and does not fall down and lose his knowledge. Nashta pragnaha, the word pragna means perfect knowledge, and Nashta pragna means one who has no perfect knowledge, one who does not have perfect knowledge has only mental speculation, but such mental speculation, one falls down and down into a hellish condition of life. By transgressing the laws laid down in the Shastras, one cannot become pure in heart. When one's heart is not purified, one acts according to the three modes of nature. Can go down, Prabhu. By the three material modes of nature. These activities are very nicely explained in verse 1 to 6 of the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita further explains Trai Gunanya Vishaya Veda Nistarai Gunanyu Bavarjuna Nirdavando Nitya Sattvasto Niryuga Kshema Atmavan Traikunya Vaishaya Veda Nishtari Kunyo Bavarjuna Nirdavando Nitya Sattva. Yes, Prabhu can go down. The Vedas mainly deal with the subject of the three modes of material nature. Rise above these modes, O Arjuna, be transcendental to all of them. Be free from all dualities and free from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Bhagavad Gita 2.45. The entire world and all material knowledge is within the three modes of material nature. Go down, Prabhu. One has to transcend these modes, and to attain that platform of transcendence, one must follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus become perfect in life. Otherwise, one will be knocked down by the waves of the material nature's three modes. This Prabhu is further explained in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in the words of Prahlad Maharaj. Mati rena Krishne parataha svato va mito bi padyeta graha vartamanam adanta gobir vishatam tammi saram punyaha punaschari vita charvananam. Bhagavatam 7.5.30. Materialistic persons who are too much engaged in material enjoyment and who do not know anything beyond their material experience are carried by the whims of material nature. They live a life characterized by chewing the chewed, and they are controlled by their uncontrolled senses. Thus, they go down to the darkest regions of hellish life. Tatra nirbina gatranam chitra vajanai shili mukai viplavo buhud dukaiti dukitanam duhusaha karuna manam. Synonyms: tatra, they, Nirbina, being praised, Gatranam, whose bodies, Chitra Vajai, with variegated feathers, Shili Mukai, by the arrows, Viplava, destruction, Abud was done, Dukitanam of the most aggrieved, Du Salaha, unbearable, Karuna Atmanam, for persons who are very merciful. Translation: when King Puranjan was hunting in this way, many animals within the forest lost their lives with great pain, being pierced by the sharp arrowheads upon sense. Can I reread? When King Puranjan was hunting in this way, many animals within the forest lost their lives with great pain. Who are the animals, Prabhu? Is it
Where, Prabhu?
like the second line? You see that King Puranjan was hunting in this way, and many animals within the forest lost their lives with great pain. Is it women or what?
Yeah, different sense objects.
Oh, yes, yes, Prabhu.
Like
When King
woman,
Puranjan was.
music, listen. Yeah, Prabhu. Different sense.
Yes, okay. Oh, yes, yes, Prabhu.
So the animals are sense objects, no? Is it what you're saying?
What, Prabhu?
Is the animals sense objects?
Is the
Yes,
animal
Prabhu. I
sense
think
objects?
the forest was compared as the sense object because he went to the forest to enjoy the sense objects, and the forest was compared to that. But I'm not sure if the animals are included. It was in the
Yeah,
first
bro.
verse or second verse of this chapter.
Okay, bro. Maybe we'll see the further verses.
I did not see this one. Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja.
Here they said, it is here described that King Puranjan once went to the forest to kill animals. This means that he, the living entity, came under the influence of the mode of ignorance. The forest, the name is called Panchaprashta, 5, and this indicates the objects of the senses. So that's the forest.
Okay, understood.
Were we here?
Nah, I think we've read this already.
Yeah. I think 9.
Yeah. When King Puranjan was hunting in this way, many animals within the forest lost their lives with great pain, being pierced by the sharp arrowheads. Upon seeing these devastating, ghastly activities performed by the king, all the people who were merciful by nature became very unhappy. Such merciful persons could not tolerate seeing all this killing. Purport: when a demonic presence engage in animal killing, the demigods or devotees of the Lord are very much afflicted by this killing. Demonic civilizations in this modern age maintain various types of slaughterhouses. All over the world, rascals, swamis, and yogis encourage foolish persons to go on eating flesh and killing animals, and at the same time continue their so-called meditation and mystical practices. All these affairs are ghastly, and a compassionate person, namely a devotee of the Lord, becomes very unhappy to see such a sight. The hunting process is also carried on in a different way. As we have already explained, hunting women, drinking different types of liquor, becoming intoxicated, killing animals, and enjoying sex all serve as the basis of modern civilization. Vaishnavas are unhappy to see such a situation in the world, and therefore they are very busy spreading this Krishna consciousness movement. The devotees are pained to see the hunting and killing of animals in the forest. The wholesale slaughter of animals in the slaughterhouses and the exploitations of young girls in brothels that function under different names as clubs and societies, being very much compassionate upon the killing of animals in sacrifice. The great sage Narada began his instructions to King Prachina Barishat. In these instructions, Narada Muni explained that devotees like him are very much afflicted by all the killing that goes on in human society. Not only are saintly persons afflicted by this killing, but even God himself is afflicted and therefore comes down in the incarnation of Lord Buddha. Jayadeva Goswami therefore sings Sadaya Hirdaya Darshitam Pashu Gatam. Simply to stop the killing of animals, Lord Buddha compassionately appeared. Some rascal put forward the theory that an animal has no soul or is something like dead stone. In this way, they rationalize that there is no sin in animal killing. Actually, animals are not dead stone, but the killers of animals are dead-hearted. Consequently, no reason or philosophy appeals to them. They continue keeping slaughterhouses and killing animals in the forest. The conclusion is that one who does not care for the instructions of saintly persons like Narada and his disciplinic succession surely falls into the category of Nashta Prajna and thus goes to hell. Shashan Varahan, okay. Shashan Varahan Mahishan Gavyan Ruru Shalyakan Medayan Anyam Cha Vividan Vini Gahanan Shaman Adya Jagat Adya Gat. Synonyms: Shashan, rabbit. Oh, Shashan. Shashan, rabbit. Varahan, bulls. Mahishan, buffaloes. Gavayan, bisons. The bisons. Ruru, black deer. Shalyakan, porcupines. Medayan, game animals. Anyan, others. Cha and Vividan, various. Vini Ganan, by killing. Shramam Adi Yagat, became very tired. Translation: in this way, King Puranjana killed many animals, including rabbits, bulls, buffaloes, bisons. Is it bisons? Bisons, black deers, porcupines, and other game animals. After killing the king became very tired. Purport: a person in the mode of ignorance commits.
Yes,
Sorry,
Lucky
Prabhu?
Prabhu just asked what animals he killed, so the answer would be here.
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
Hmm.
Sorry, Prabhu. I missed that part.
What, Prabhu?
You said something?
Oh, yes, he was saying Lucky was actually asking which animals were being killed.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, yes, Prabhu.
Okay, purport. A person in the mode of ignorance commits many sinful activities. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami explains that a man becomes sinful out of ignorance only. The resultant effect of sinful life is suffering. Those who are not in knowledge, who commits violations of the standard laws, are subject to the punishment under criminal laws. Similarly, the laws of nature are very stringent. If a child touches fire without knowing the effect, he must be burned, even though he is only a child. If a child violates the law of nature, there is no compassion. Only through ignorance does a person violate the laws of nature. And when he comes to the knowledge, he does not commit any more sinful acts. The king becomes tired after killing so many animals. When a man comes in contact with a saintly person, he becomes aware of the stringent laws of nature and thus becomes a religious person. Irreligious persons are like animals, but in this Krishna consciousness movement, such persons can come. Can go down, Prabhu. Such person can come to a sense of understanding things as they are and abandon the four principles of prohibited activities, namely illicit sex, life, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. This is the beginning of religious life. Those who are so-called religious and indulge in these four principles of prohibited activities are pseudo-religionists. Religious life and sinful activities cannot parallel one another. If one is serious in accepting a religious life or the path of salvation, he must adhere to the four basic rules and regulations. However sinful a man may be, he receives knowledge from the proper spiritual master and repents his past activities in his sinful life and stops them. He immediately becomes eligible to return home back to Godhead. This is made possible just by following the rules and regulations given by the Shastra and the following the bona fide spiritual master. At the present, the whole world is on the verge of retiring from a blind materialistic civilization, which may be likened to hunting animals in the forest. People should take advantage of this Krishna consciousness movement and live the troublesome life of killing. It is said that the killers of animals should neither live nor die. If they live only to kill animals and enjoy women, life is not very prosperous. And as soon as a killer dies, he enters the cycle of birth and death in the lower species of life. That also is not desirable. The conclusion is that killers should retire from the killing business and take to this Krishna consciousness movement to make life perfect. A confused, frustrated man cannot get relief by committing suicide because suicide will simply lead him to take birth in the lower species of life or to remain as a ghost, unable to attain a gross material body. Therefore, the perfect course is to retire altogether from sinful activities and take up Krishna consciousness. In this way, one can become completely perfect and go back home, back to Godhead. Tataha kshutu ranto nivrito graham iyavan kritasnano chitaraha samvivesha gata klamaha. Semi Prabhu, can you chant this, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. ततः क्षुत्रिपरिश्रान्तो निवृत्तो गृहमेयिवान् कृतास्नानोचिताहारा संविवेशागता क्लमा.
Haribo. Tata, thereafter, kshuto, by hunger, thirst, parish, rantaha, being too fatigued, and nivrataha, having ceased, graham, e vine, yeah, e van, came back to his home. krita, taken, snana, bath, utchita ahara, exactly required foodstuff. Some vivesha, took rest, gata klamaha, freed from all fatigue. Translation: after this, the king, very much fatigued, hungry and thirst. After this, the king, very much fatigued, hungry and thirst. Is it hungry? Fatigued, hungry, and thirst, returned to his royal palace. After returning, he took a bath and had dinner. Then he took rest and thus became freed from all restlessness. Purport: all materialistic persons works throughout the whole week very, very hard. He is always asking, where is money? Where is money? Then at the end of the week, he wants to retire from these activities and go to some secluded place to rest. King Puranjan returned to his home because he was very much fatigued from hunting animals in the forest. In this way, his conscience came to stop him from committing further sinful activities. His conscience, came to stop him from committing further sinful activities and make him return home. In the Bhagavad Gita, materialistic persons are described as Kritinaha, which indicates those who are always engaged in sinful activities. When a person comes to his senses and understands how he is engaging in sinful activities, he returns to his conscience, which is herein figuratively described as the palace. Generally, Generally, a materialistic person is infected by the material modes of passion and ignorance. The results of passion and ignorance are lust and greed. In the life of a materialistic activity means working in lust and greed. However, when he comes to his senses, he wants to retire. According to the Vedic civilization, such retirement is positively recommended, and this portion of life is called vanaprastha. Retirement is absolutely necessary for a materialist who wants to become freed from the activities of a sinful life. King Puranjan's coming home, taking bath, and having an appropriate dinner indicate that a materialistic person must retire from sinful activities and become purified by accepting a spiritual master and hearing from him about the values of life. If one would do this, he would feel completely refreshing, just as one feels after taking a bath. After receiving initiation from a bona fide spiritual master, one must abandon all kinds of sinful activities, namely illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. The word uchitaraha used in this verse is important. Uchita means appropriate. One must eat appropriately and not take after food like hogs taking after stool. For a human being, they are eatables described in Bhagavad Gita 17.8, as sattvika ahara, or food in the mode of goodness. One should not indulge in eating food in the mode of passion and ignorance. This is called uchitara, or appropriate eating. One who is always eating meat or drinking liquor, which is eating and drinking in passion and ignorance, must give these things up so that his real consciousness may be awakened. In this way, one may become peaceful and refreshing. If one is restless or fatigued, one cannot understand the science of God, as stated in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1.2.20. Evam prasana manaso bhagavat bhakti yoga taha bhagavat tattvam vigyananam mukta sangasya jayate. Evam prasana manaso bhagavat bhakti yoga taha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukti sangasya jayate. Can go down, bro. Unless one become free from the influence of passion and ignorance, he cannot be pacified. And without being pacified, one cannot understand the science of God. King Puranjan's returning home is indicative of man's returning to his original consciousness, known as Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is absolutely necessary for one who has committed a lot of sinful activities, especially killing animals or hunting in the forest. Can go down, bravo. Atmanam aharanyan chakrem dupa lepa sakra adibihi sadav alankrita saravango mahishyam adade manaha. Atmanam aharayan chakre dupa lepa sakra adibi. Okay. Synonyms: Atmanam, himself; Arahayam, as it outer, to be done; Chakre, dead; Dupa, incense; Alepa, smearing the body with sandala wood; pulp; Sakra, garlands; Adibihi, beginning with; Sadhu, saintly, beautifully; Alan Krita, being decorated; Sarva Angaha, all over the body; Mahishyam, unto the queen; Adade, he gave; Manaha, mind. Translation: After this, King Puranjana decorated his body with suitable ornaments. He also smeared sainted sandala wood pulp over his body and put on flower garlands. In this way, he became completely refreshed. After this, he began to search out his queen. I wonder who's the queen now, since he's learning the true knowledge now.
Yes, Prabhu, the intelligence is queen.
Oh, yes, Prabhu. Purport: when a man comes into good consciousness and accepts a saintly person as a spiritual master, he hears many Vedic instructions in the form of philosophy, stories, narrations about great devotees, and transactions between God and his devotees. In this way, a man becomes refreshed in mind, exactly like a person who smears sainted sandala wood pulp all over his body and decorates himself with ornaments. These decorations may be compared to knowledge of religion and the self. Through such knowledge, one becomes detached from a materialistic way of life and engages himself in always hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and other Vedic literatures. The word sadav alankrita, used in this verse, indicates that one must be absorbed in knowledge gathered from the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Bhagavad Gita in good and proper. From the instructions of the saintly persons, just as King Puranjan began to search out his better half, the queen, one who is decorated with knowledge and instructions from saintly persons, should try to search out his original consciousness, Krishna consciousness. One cannot return to Krishna consciousness unless he is favored by the instructions of a saintly person. Therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakura sings, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakyam, Chitete Kariya Aikya. If we want to become saintly persons, or if we want to return to our original Krishna consciousness, we must associate with Sadhu, a saintly person, Shastra, authoritative Vedic literature, and Guru, a bona fide spiritual master. This is the process. Yeah, I think I'll read the last one. I can feel
Yes,
now
Prabhu.
my mouth is tired. Usually I don't read this loud. Tripto hirshtaha sudraptascha kandhar pakrishta manasaha navyachashta vararoham grihi nim graha medinam crypto hirshtaha sud raptascha kandarpakshta manasaha navya chashta vara roham grahinim graha medinim. Tripta, satisfied, hirshtaha, joyful, sudrip, sudriptaha, being very proud, cha also, kandarpa, by Cupid, akrishta, attracted, manasaha, his mind, na, did not, vyachashta, try, vararoham, higher consciousness, krinim, wife, graha medinim, one who keeps her husband in material life. Translation: after taking his dinner and having his thirst and hunger satisfied, King Puranjana felt some joy within his heart. Instead of being elevated to a higher consciousness, he became captivated by Cupid and was moved by a desire to find his wife, who kept him satisfied in his householder life. Purport: this verse is very significant for those desiring to elevate themselves to a higher life of Krishna consciousness. When a person is initiated by a spiritual master, he changes his habits and does not eat undesirable eatables or engage in the eating of meat, the drinking of liquor, illicit sex, or gambling. Sattvika ahara, foodstuffs in the mode of goodness, are described in the Shastras as wheat, rice, vegetables, fruits, milk, sugar, and milk products. Simple food like rice, dal, chapi, chaptis, chaptis, wow. Chapatis, vegetables, milk, and sugar constitute a balanced diet, but sometimes it is found that an initiated person in the name of Prasad eats very luxurious foodstuffs. Due to his past sinful life, he becomes attracted by Cupid and eats foodstuffs voraciously. It is clearly visible that when a neophyte in Krishna consciousness eats too much, he falls down instead of being elevated to pure Krishna consciousness. He becomes attracted by Cupid. The so-called brahmachari becomes agitated by women, and the vanaprastha may again become captivated into having sex with his wife. Or he may begin to search out another wife. Due to some sentiment, he may give up his own wife and come into the association of devotees and a spiritual master. But due to his past sinful life, he cannot stay. Instead of being elevated to Krishna consciousness, he falls down, being attracted by Cupid, and takes another wife for sex enjoyment. The fall of the neophyte devotees from the path of Krishna consciousness down to the material life is described in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam by Narada Muni. Tyaktvam swadharmam charannambujam harer bhajan apaktvo taha patit tato yadi yatrakva vabhadram abud musya kim ko varta apto bhajatam swadharmataha. Bhagavatam 1.5.17. This indicates that although a neophyte devotee may fall down from the path of Krishna consciousness due to his immaturity, his service to Krishna never goes in vain. However, a person who remains steadfast in his family duty or so-called social or family obligation because but does not take to Krishna consciousness receives no profit. One who comes to Krishna consciousness must be very cautious and refrain from prohibited activities as defined by Rupa Goswami in his Upadesh Amrita. Atyaharaha aprayasascha prajalpo niyamargaha jana sangascha laulyam cha sadbi bhaktir vinishyati. A neophyte devotee should neither eat too much nor collect more money than necessary. Eating too much or collecting too much is called atyahara. For such atyahara, one must endeavor very much. This is called prayasa. Superficially, one may show himself to be very much faithful to the rules and regulations, but at the same time, not to be fixed in the regulative principles. This is called niyama graha. By mixing with undesirable persons or jana sangha, one becomes tainted with lust and greed and falls down from the path of devotional service. Yeah, and the next person can read.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, now we go to 6 Ashtakam prayers.
Can I start the first one? Because I need to go to.
Yes,
Or should
Prabhu.
I read them first?
You can read.
Should I read them? Okay, bro. Should I start? Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavaglinirvapanam shreya kaivachandika vitaranam vidya vadu jivanam anandam burdi vardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam sarvatmasnapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Namna Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpitanyamita Smarani Nakalaham Etatrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Dorodaiva Metrisham Hygiena Nurakraha Tunarapi Sunichena Taro Api Sahishnuna Amanina Manadina Kirtaniya Sada Hari Nadanam na janam na sundarim gavitam va jagadishaka maye mama janmani janmani sware bhavata bhaktiya toki twai Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddho kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita doli satrisham vichintaya Nayanam galadasrudaraya vadanam gadgadarudaya gira pulagairene chitam vapukada Tavanamagrahane bhavishyati Yugaitam nimishena chakshusha pravishaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahe name Asislava paratham pinastumam adarshanam marmam hatam karotu va yata tata va vidatulan patomat prananatastu sa eva narpanaha. Glories to the Shri Krishna Sankirtan. Glories to the Shri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. They are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal savior, yet somehow or other I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand? Can go down, Prabhu. No, not that down, Prabhu. Just go into the next loka, Prabhu. No, not that one. Above. Yeah, I'm still finishing this one. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. Oh, no, wait. I think I was there. Where was I? Okay, let me read that one. Oh, mighty Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shikshastaka ki jai, Lord Chaitanya
Jai.
Mahaprabhu ki jai, Lord Nityananda
Jai.
Prabhu ki jai,
Jai.
Panchatattva ki jai,
Jai.
Six Goswamis ki jai.
Jai.
Bahu Janma Kare Yadi Shravana Kirtana Tabutana Paya Krishna Pare Premadana. If one is infested with the 10 offenses and the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will not get the love of Godhead. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. The first offense, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second offense, to consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Third offense is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master or thinking him as an ordinary person. Fourth offense, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth offense, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. Sixth offense, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh offense, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Eighth offense, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. Ninth offense, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10th offense, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees who of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
kripasindhubhyascha
kripasindhubhyo
paditanan
cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo
Ananta
namaha.
Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Namacharya Sri Ladidas Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki